Wait till we're live here. Come on. Oh, we got a viewer counter up. Let's just keep waiting till at least like one comment comes in, or I'll just check on my phone, see if we're live. Oh, hey, okay, got it. Got a bunch of comments from YouTube. Okay, what's up? Welcome everyone to, actually, let me check my audio, make sure that's good. Mic Pro. Just to check that here. Okay, yeah, should be good. So, welcome everyone to another live stream brought to you by Joe Bacon. Ideally, daily, but the schedule nowadays is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday at 12 p.m. PST or 7 p.m. UTC. And we are live right now on YouTube, Twitter, and Discord, and the Bacon DAO Discord specifically. So today I'm just going to go over kind of the usual content, but a bit more updated since we haven't done kind of overall market analysis for half a week now. So we're going to do Bitcoin analysis, Ethereum analysis, Bitcoin dominance analysis, then the leading layer ones. So that's like AVAX, Luna, etc., all those coins that we picked up, as well as the DeFi coins, right? We're going to go over all of those that are currently trending. And then there's a couple more interesting narratives that I would like to touch on, but we can save that for the very end. And then we'll do a lot of Q&As. So that's about the schedule for today. And yeah, let's just get straight into it. Let me go ahead and share screen here. Start off with Bitcoin analysis. So hopefully computer doesn't lag on me too hard today, but we shall see. Okay, we're up. BTC USD. So Bitcoin, right, still looking very, very strong. In fact, this makes me really happy. So since for the past month and a half, almost 2 months now, right, we've been watching this like 38K to 42K. We made an entry here, and then we said there are two more resistances that we need to break through, right, at these two previous highs during this short-term correction here at 48K and 52.5K. And then last week, when we finally broke above this 52.5, I even made a TikTok on that day and said, okay, since we have broken above and made a new higher high here, right? So in the uptrend, that is the full pattern of, ever since 30K here, right? We have made a higher low here, and then another higher low here at, let's say 40K at the very lowest, but still above the 38K higher low. Then this would be the first sign that the uptrend hasn't been invalidated, right? But in order for the uptrend to continue, the price needs to also make a higher high above the previous high. Excuse me. And in this case, it's at 52.5K, right? So we have, let me just draw that out here. So this is a higher low, right? And then higher low at 40K. And then the first, let's say, higher high here, right? And then another higher high here. And now this higher high has been broken, right? So wherever we top out, like in the very, very short term here, right? When we get another like very short term correction, that high is going to be higher than this previous higher high. So this is what makes a uptrend, right? This is the signs you need to see in order to identify a healthy uptrend. So this is really good, right? Obviously, if you're not holding any crypto, you're trying to get into Bitcoin, like I can't give you a good entry anymore when it's like gone up like this, right? We had entries around here, we had entries around here, so it is what it is, right? So now, if you are really still on the sidelines, right, I would say a pullback to this previous higher high, right, at 52.5, you could try to enter there. But again, you cannot really set your stop loss there anymore because the stop losses have to be set below the previous higher lows. In this case, that's at 40K, right? So you see right away, even if you enter here on a pullback, you're still risking a lot of potential downside. So this is, why like I can't really give you too good of entry and just like convince you to ape in right now because the rally has started, right? Of course, most of us have been positioned, right? If you have joined our streams for the past month and a half, right? We've been looking at Bitcoin at these levels, so far so good. I don't think there will be any troubles for us to break above the previous all-time high now, right? Which is like, 57K, 58K here, 61, 64, right? Just a bunch more levels, right? At these previous highs that we made back in kind of March to May, right? So there are 4 levels in this overall zone, and we are now testing that zone. So expect some sort of consolidation, but I don't expect these lows to be broken again, right? So yeah, that's just very simple. For me personally, right, if I were to make an even higher conviction play for Bitcoin and make an entry, I would even wait for all of these previous all-time highs to be broken, right? For the chart to do something like this, right? Now, obviously, it's not guaranteed that it'll do that right away, right? It could, do a bunch of more higher highs and higher lows, but once it has broken above all of the previous levels and truly entered into price discovery, that could be another good entry opportunity in Bitcoin, right? Now, you might say, why is that? Why don't you just buy now if you think it's going to do this and instead of buying later? Well, because buying now, you don't know, right? You don't have according to the price pattern, you don't have a clear stop loss that you can define right now, because this is not in a high, percentage yet, not at a level that you can set a stop loss at. If you buy right now, the only kind of really good stop loss you can set is below this previous higher low here, right? But once it has broken above all of the previous all-time highs, right, at 64K, then you are betting on not the short-term play, but the long-term price discovery, right? And once you're in that trade, you can set your stop loss just below the previous all-time high here, right? Let's say at 56K, right? So basically, if Bitcoin clears all of these resistances, right, and breaks above 64K, I can very comfortably set my stop loss at 56K, 55K instead of 40K, because if it fakes out and falls back below all of these levels, then most likely that trade is invalidated anyways, right? So yes, waiting for the setup to play out, you would have a higher entry price wise, but your stop loss can be limited to be much smaller, and that's what makes a good entry, right? Otherwise, if you just look at the historical charts of Bitcoin, right, like you always had cheaper opportunities to get in, so you would never have a good entry if you just go by that standard of, okay, it used to be cheaper, so now it's like more expensive than before, I cannot buy anymore. That's not the case. What makes a good entry is to have a clear stop loss and take profit, no matter where the kind of actual price is, right? So yeah, so that's what I'm looking at for Bitcoin. Obviously, I'm still holding Bitcoin and mostly altcoins right now, so not much more I can say there. Like, if you are still on the sidelines, I would wait for break of all of the previous all-time highs at above 64K in order to make an entry for the very kind of accelerated play for the new price discovery. In which case you can set a stop loss much tighter. But at the current levels, very difficult because you have to set a stop loss something at like 40K, right? Which is not ideal. So yeah, that's Bitcoin. And overall, right, this is very healthy trend right now, right? Higher highs and higher lows, as we've drawn here, right? So sets the stage and gives us kind of the mindset of, okay, where the market is going, which is up, right? And it's doing really well. So this gives us and myself more confidence to be in altcoins and carry on with the rest of the analysis, which let's get into right now. And let me just check sound. And you guys lost audio? That's well, okay. If you don't have audio on Discord, just join us on YouTube. But I'm pretty sure I see my icon light up, so I don't know why that would be the case. Okay, so moving on to Ethereum. Still, like, even for Ethereum, not much to say here, right? 2.9K was our entry. If it comes back down to that range, right, you have another entry opportunity. But Ethereum is just following Bitcoin right now, right? So really not much to say there. I still hold Ethereum just as I hold Bitcoin for the very long term. I can't really recommend you to get in at these levels, not because it won't go up more, but because it's pretty much just following Bitcoin and not outperforming Bitcoin, which so for the extra risk you're taking on, you might as well just be in Bitcoin, right? But if you're a true ETH maxi, like, nothing wrong with that. ETH will continue to go up, at least in dollar terms, as long as Bitcoin is healthy. So that's all fine and dandy. And I don't have any really stop loss for Ethereum because, again, it depends on Bitcoin. So as long as Bitcoin holds its current uptrend, Ethereum is all good. Yeah, so I would say same case for Ethereum, right? If you really, really need an entry, I would wait for breakout above the previous all-time high at 4,200. In which case you can bet on the price discovery move, right? Once it has done that, then your stop loss you could set like somewhere just below the previous all-time high, right? Because typically these kind of moves you need it to follow through instead of coming down below, right? If it comes down below, more than likely that's a clear invalidation. Right? So that's my outlook on Ethereum right now. Still holding, but not adding more right now. And especially if we look at ETH versus Bitcoin, right? You see, this is not a good sign for Ethereum because ETH versus BTC has broken down below the previous higher low here, right, at 0.065. So not a good sign. What this is showing us is that ETH is now underperforming Bitcoin. So for the same, amount of reward, you're taking on more risk with Ethereum. So it doesn't make any much more sense. So I still hold both for long term, but if I were really kind of trading, or I'm looking to add to long-term positions, or betting on like short-term but very liquid markets, I would take Bitcoin over Ethereum because of this chart, right? Because ETH, in comparison to Bitcoin, is going down, right? And it has broken key support here. So yeah, that's Ethereum. Okay, moving on to Bitcoin dominance. So Bitcoin dominance is looking very interesting now. Over the long term, right, we've been watching it as it has been in this long-term downtrend, right, since beginning of the year, 2-month consolidation here, another breakdown towards the downside. But you see here, this is starting to look a little bit worrying for altcoins overall because we have had this significant zone here drawn around 45% for Bitcoin dominance. And you see we are breaking above that as we speak, right? Specifically, right, I was betting on this 45% to hold and for this to quickly reject towards the downside, but it doesn't seem like the case, right? It seems quite clear, honestly, that at least in the short term, Bitcoin is gaining against altcoins, as you can see with Bitcoin dominance going up. So This is another sign that tells me that, okay, probably close, like very close to take profits for altcoins, right? Obviously, I still have individual plays that I'm very bullish on, but this is not a good sign for alts. It is nothing to worry about for the overall market, and for the most part, because this is due to Bitcoin rising in price instead of it falling, even if you're holding altcoins, they will still do okay, right? Because the market is overall bullish, not bearish. It's just the case that Bitcoin is starting to lead the market, right? New money is coming in, and money is flowing back into Bitcoin and large caps. That is what this Bitcoin dominance chart is reflecting. So yeah, I wouldn't say this is a very long-term reversal just yet. In order for that to play out, we probably need to look at the weekly chart, right? As you can see, when we had the last major reversal here, right? This is a very typical like long-term. You can say Adam and Eve. You can say like higher low, or you can bet on a new double bottom here, which is what we could potentially be seeing. So the first signs of this reversal is already starting to play out, right? If we just kind of remove all of our drawings here, and maybe like a line chart would be clearer. Yeah. So in order for this double bottom to truly play out like a double bottom, right, and be a reversal, we have had two bottoms here, right, for Bitcoin dominance right at 40%. And now we're seeing this potential rally, right? So in order for this to play out, let me not take that and take that, right? We need to see this kind of neckline that's first has to form and also be broken, right? So if, going back to candles, if Bitcoin dominance continues to go up, especially testing and breaking above 47.5%, then this would be a sign very clearly here that I would take most profits from altcoins and put them into Bitcoin. I wouldn't take profits into fiat because this move in Bitcoin dominance is not driven by market being bearish. Quite the contrary, it's driven by Bitcoin just being very, very bullish, right? So, which is a really good sign. It's definitely the easier trade. So when I say take profit, I don't mean like, oh no, it's topped out, it's going to crash. What I mean is, when Bitcoin dominance breaks above and clearly makes this completes this double bottom pattern, right, with a breakout above the neckline, if it breaks out above the neckline here, I will take profits from my altcoins and put them into Bitcoin. Now, remember, I must put them into Bitcoin. Otherwise, I'm missing the whole point, right? Because what this chart is showing us is only Bitcoin outperforming altcoins. It is not telling us that altcoin has topped out. Quite the contrary, altcoin will probably go up, but Bitcoin will simply go up a little bit more, or even the same amount, right? But even if Bitcoin versus like risky altcoins are going up the same amount, the better pick is clearly Bitcoin because it's less risky, right? So that's what this chart is showing me as a potential setup coming up next. I am not too hasty on this, right? So still waiting very patiently. And yeah, I think the 47.5% level would be a very clear indication, right? If we do break above that, I will most likely take like pretty much all of the profits out of altcoins and put them into Bitcoin. But until that happens, this pattern isn't confirmed, and I'm not worried yet, right? And especially the fact that, again, this is triggered by Bitcoin going up, so like nothing to worry about for altcoins, right? Like overall market is bullish. So yeah, I have even like less things to worry about because like even if I don't make this move, at some point when Bitcoin consolidates, like that money will flow into altcoins anyways. So it's not a very like emergency type of move and say like, oh no, altcoins are going to go down. That's not the case. It's just a bit of a rotation. If this happens, I can reap more profits by being in Bitcoin when this move happens. Especially specifically the move I'm talking about is here, right here, if this happens. Yeah, so that's Bitcoin dominance. Okay, moving on, let's look at layer one ecosystems. I think it's about time that we went over like all of them. So first off, going on the market cap list, Cardano, right? Still haven't really come down to like my entry levels, right? Something between like 1.5 to 1.9. Yeah, not too keen on getting it right now, especially with Bitcoin dominance trending up. Yeah, so Cardano is one of those cases that like risk to reward is okay, but it's not like super ideal yet. If you're a Cardano fan, nothing against it, right? Ecosystem is just starting to pick up. We're just seeing like first projects launching on Cardano. So for that reason, it is a good time for that ecosystem. And I think the upside potential is quite high for the next like 2 quarters. But just in comparison to other layer one like native assets, I don't think this is a great risk to reward. Similar thing for Solana, right? Again, previous all-time high for Solana was around $55, right? And after this huge pump, we're still at $140. And especially now that we have printed a, right, you see one high here, and then technically speaking, this is a lower high. So this is not a good sign, right? I'm not so keen on picking up this Solana dip here. Yeah, not necessarily saying that it will drop to the previous all-time high, but if I were to pick it up right here, I would need to be able to swallow a drop towards the previous all-time high, or even at least like close to the $70 range, right? This previous consolidation here, which is like a 50% drop. So that kind of downside is too much, right? And so that's why, I'm not so keen on picking it at these price levels. Obviously, if you're holding Cardano since very early, Solana since very early, ecosystem is just starting to be built. Their EVM layer is kind of coming live very soon. So lots of good news there. Fundamentally, it's a really strong ecosystem. So nothing against that. And then next up, we have like AVAX, which itself is seeing a dip. This is actually starting to get very juicy here. If you map it to, let's say, $40 to $55, right? This is starting to come into play as a potential buy zone, right? 40 to 55. If you've been sitting on the sidelines for AVAX, this would be the time. Yeah, so I would be picking up a lot of AVAX between $40 and $55. Yeah, simply because it was, yeah, it's just the previous all-time high. So retest here, very clear. I do think there could be a bit more dip into this zone if you look back to the Bitcoin dominance chart, right? It hasn't really seemed like it topped out to like 47.5% yet. There's still a couple percent there to go. And that's why I think most of these layer ones will see a little bit more correction. But that's not to be confused as a bad sign. I think these are like golden opportunities here. Like $40 to $55 for AVAX, really good range to buy back in. If you've been, taking profits, or if you're just waiting on the sidelines. I'm still holding AVAX. So also Luna or Terra is the ecosystem name. This one is like even stronger. It hasn't even dipped that much. If it can come back down to like $24 range, this has been our previous 3 entries here, will be really good. Until that happens, I'm not adding yet. So $24 would be my target. Not saying that will necessarily happen, but if it happens, it's a good opportunity, right? That's what I'm saying. Also, I think I'll go over DOT in a very end there. What else? Algorand, Algo USDT. Similar scenario, right around $1.70. Previous all-time high is getting retested again. right? So these lows here at $1.50 and up to $1.70, I think that would be my entry range. Like right in this box, right around there. And then another one is Atom or Cosmos. Yeah, I already have these boxes drawn like since last month. So between $28 to $30, right? That'll be my entry target for Atom, assuming Bitcoin dominance has a little bit more tick up to go. What else is there? Phantom, right? Phantom USDT. This one is very strong. This is interesting. This doesn't even seem to dip. So Phantom all-time high right around 93 cents. Yeah, so I can't really say that will necessarily happen. Yeah, Phantom is very strong. It's a good sign. So continue to hold this. I'm not buying more, obviously, at these levels, but continuing to hold. This is what you want to see, right? Not what you want to buy into, but what you want to see once you have bought. And then Harmony. This one is starting to look interesting because it has broken above its previous all-time high, right around 20 cents. So my target would be between now 16 cents and 20 cents, this range, in this kind of very short term, like Bitcoin sucking up the liquidity. Yeah, so Harmony is starting to go into price discovery. So I probably will pick up some Harmony if it can come back down to around 20 cents. What else is there? Let me think. That's about it for layer. Oh, right, DOT. Cannot miss DOT. So DOT is the like super major play, probably my like top play for the next 3 to 6 months. Mostly because of the parachains, and I'll actually try to Google a little bit more because there is a major conference that's happening today. But yeah, let's actually just move into the DOT ecosystem here. I would actually change this banner to be named DOT Parachains. So right away, right, I've been meaning to accumulate a lot of DOT because in the next, I'm pretty sure 2 to 3 months, right, the DOT parachains will be live, where you can put down your DOT tokens for crowd loans to get like Moonbeam tokens, Akala tokens, Astar tokens, like very, very top tier projects that will be like listed on Binance, very likely day one. So, so I've been meaning to accumulate DOT, and here is the chart first off that we've been watching, right? So any dips to around this previous support range, right, which acted as resistance right here, right? And then you see here 1, 2, 3 tests as support, right? 2 tests of resistance, 1 test as resistance, support again, support again, support again, right? So this is a very significant level. Between $26.5 to $29, right? This would be ideal entry zone if we can come back down there. So this is a sign that, like, honestly, I hope Bitcoin and Bitcoin dominance continues to trend up a little bit more, so I get this entry. But the other scenario that I'm watching is if we actually can break above 37.5 here, $37.5, in which case this retest here, right here, would be my entry. Because again, this is back to what defines an uptrend, right? So this is ever since very, the very bottom here in July, we had higher low, right? Higher high, higher high, higher low, right? So test of the previous higher low, you have a very clear stop loss, right? Or breakout of the previous higher high, and especially kind of into price discovery here, you have a very clear stop loss also below this breakout here. So both trades are valid. It's just which one comes to me first. Yeah, so if DOT breaks above 37.5, I would expect it to hold above there. So I can set a stop loss very tight here, right around, let's say, 34. But if DOT comes back down to 28, I would expect it to hold above there. So I can set a stop loss here. So both cases are good entries because of a clear stop loss. So with a clearly defined kind of potential loss, I can put down much more size, much bigger size, much more money, right? So that's what makes a good entry. Obviously, for the very long term, right? Dot parachains, right? The whole narrative, the whole ecosystem actually starting very soon. Either of these levels are good, right? Like between 27 to like 40 is all very cheap. So if you are just looking at the very long term, like, yeah, just go ahead and like accumulate like kind of daily, weekly, whatever. It really doesn't matter much. But I want to kind of get the ideal case here. So yeah, that's why I'm waiting for either breakout above or come back down to retest here. Yeah, so that's how I'm playing this. So that's DOT price. Now there's a bit of interesting news I want to show you guys. This is more fundamentals for the DOT ecosystem and DOT parachains. And that is the event. Actually, is it happening today? No, it's not happening today. Today is what? Today is the 11th. It's happening on the 13th, actually. So if you Google or just look on Twitter, this thing called Sub-Zero, I think. Sub-Zero Polkadot. So this online event, right, happening on October 13th and 14th, there will be a segment, and this is one of the biggest events in the Polkadot / Kusama ecosystem, right, where developers come together, and there will be a specific segment to for the Polkadot founder to give an update on parachains, where they are right now and what's coming, right? And a lot of people are speculating for the Polkadot parachains, specifically the dates, right, and the how many slots, etc., for the first batch, probably top 5 first, to be announced like at this conference, which is in like 2 days, right? So I don't know if that will for sure happen, but something to speculate. And I'm not really trying to price in like this trade here, because I think that's a very long-term thing, right? I just really wish it can come out so that I can like know what the timeline is when the crowd loans will come. So then I can like really try to position myself and say, okay, by what date and or roughly month I should have majority of my DOT bags. So all eyes on this. I don't know if this is going to be announced there. Like nobody really knows, but decent chance, right? A lot of people are speculating this. So this is one big news to watch out for. But aside from that, I'm still doing the what's it called? Comparison for the tokenomics for all of the Polkadot parachains. Right now, the only ones that have started their whitelist are Akala and Equilibrium. So I'm able to okay, no, that's not the one. Crowdloan here. I'm able to analyze their tokenomics already, as well as Moonbeam. They have released like most of the information for their Polkadot parachain in terms of the tokenomics, not specific date yet. So I'll keep you guys updated. Again, I talked about this yesterday, that the real key here is if you just take Kusama's example, right? The really strong, really what set Moon River apart for its like super good performance in comparison to the others is actually how much they were giving out for their crowd loan. So that directly translates to the valuation of the project that you are contributing into, right? So Moon River's case was around $250 million for Moon River project that you are putting the crowd loans into, versus Karura, right? Because they raised way too much money, but they're only releasing a tiny bit of tokens, 11% versus Moon River's 30%. This ended up being like $1.6 billion for Karura, and that's why the crowd loan was not a good return, right? So I'm doing these kind of very numbers focused analysis for the limited amount of projects and limited info I have for Polkadot crowd loans. So far, I've done them for Akala, Equilibrium, and Moonbeam. I'll be doing, Astar, Phala, Bifrost, Hydra, Centrifuge, all the other ones as well. So keep an eye out for that. I don't have that to present today, but I can tell you straight away that Moonbeam most likely is going to be better bet than Akala and Equilibrium, right? Just from the three that I have studied for crowd loans on Polkadot. So yeah, that's my take. That's my plan on DOT auctions. Really looking forward to potentially getting the dates at the Sub-Zero event, right? And also, yeah, starting to accumulate DOT. Honestly, if it does get announced here, I'll probably just go ahead and buy DOT. Probably not wait for either of these setups. But if it doesn't get announced, I'll have a bit more time, so I'll take my time here. So that's what I'm currently looking at for DOT. Yeah, just overall, like DOT ecosystem. Oh, I like how my webcam froze. Overall, DOT ecosystem next 3 to 6 months is going to be like a huge play, right? Not mainly because there's so many different projects going to be launching with good opportunities. DOT coin itself should do well with the parachains, but what I really think is the big opportunity here is these crowd loans will raise probably hundreds of millions of dollars, right? So if you have done the math and you understand the valuation of these projects, you have a vision for it, it's pretty much a chance to get into pretty much like a private sale into these top tier projects like Moonbeam, Akala, Astar, whatever. As long as the tokenomics is good, whichever one you identify with good tokenomics, you don't have an upward limit that for the amount you can contribute to these projects, right? Technically, they are private sales for these crowd loans. I think that's what the true opportunity is. If you treat these crowd loans as private sale opportunities into large projects that anyone can get into, and you do the research and you find out which ones are undervalued, that's a once in a lifetime opportunity for you, right? Because in other token sales, etc., you can put in $1,000 into coinless sales, right? But you can literally put in $100K, $1 million into Moonbeam crowd loan, and they can accommodate you, right? So, yeah, that's what I see as the true opportunity here, and that's why I'm so interested, right? Is I can put down serious sites. Yeah, so that's Polkadot and crowd loans and parachains. Moving on to some DeFi plays. Let me just go down the list here and bring up CoinGecko. Right. So first off, there is a rumor going around for Binance. Not even a rumor, more like speculation. So you see how so earlier this morning, right, in 6 hours ago, Binance tweeted that we like the decentralized cash, right? And the top trending decentralized cash or decentralized stablecoin, whatever, right, that are actually decentralized. What are some of the top ones right now? You have Olympus DAO, Ohm, you have Spell and Mim. You have like maybe Anchor UST. You can argue that UST is not so decentralized, right? So I think really, unless, so I think this has like potentially like two big meanings. First is, one is just like they just referring to Bitcoin, in which case like this will turn out to be nothing. But if this is somehow a hint for potential listing, I think it's most likely Spell and Abracadabra Meme or Magic Internet Money, because that's a decentralized cash, right? That's literally the top decentralized stablecoin that's very trending right now, right? On route to replace DAI, right? So if a lot of people are saying like, oh, this could be Ohm, like they might list Olympus DAO, I highly doubt it. I'm pretty sure it's not going to be Ohm, simply because Binance has never listed a rebase coin, right? Because of the design of Ohm, how like most of the profit actually goes to staked Ohm. So in order for Binance, like people on FOMOing into Ohm on Binance to like actually get the profits, they have to be able to get staked Ohm instead of Ohm, which will be very difficult for Binance to integrate, right? So most likely it's not going to be Ohm if this is a listing, because like if they list Ohm on Binance, people that are using Binance, they don't understand rebases, they don't understand Olympus DAO, they don't understand staking and the high APY and the market cap growth. They just see price, right? But at some point, Ohm's price is gonna, stabilize and like go down a little bit while the yield is still up. So technically, people are still profiting, but Binance retail, like noobs are going to FUD. So Binance doesn't want that. So I highly doubt it's going to be Ohm. So if this is indeed a listing hint, I would think it's most likely Spell. And also here you see, why is my stream here? You see Binance Spell Jaws from okay, I can't even find it. But here, this guy is one of the core team at Olympus, and even he's saying that I think Binance is talking about Spell or Mim, not Ohm. So pretty sure it's not Ohm. So yeah, I actually bought back into Spell. I know I told you guys I sold yesterday, because yeah, I saw like volume starting to decline, right? With if you look at like 14 days here, very clearly, right? This gray bar is here, our volume, and you see volume is starting to decline as like price clearly peaked here in a volume peak as well. But with this Binance speculation, it's definitely worth it to take another punt, because if Binance lists Spell, it's going to be like 100% gain in that day. It's just like, that's the Binance effect. For a project in 1.2 billion market cap to list on Binance, that's not much. That really isn't much for Binance standards, especially if they open up some sort of futures market for it. The volume could actually be significantly higher than what it is right now on like Sushi and Uni and like decentralized exchanges. So yeah, I went back into Spell. Luckily, right, like from yesterday's levels, right around here, to today's levels, pretty much the same price. I probably will only hold this for like another week, because I think if this hint, if what I'm like trying to catch here is true, and Binance can list the Spell soon, it should be like a week. I don't expect it to be like a week delay, right? There should be some sort of announcement soon at least. So fingers crossed, right? I really don't know. I don't work at Binance, so it's just speculation. Yeah, so that's Spell. That's a bit of alpha for you. I think the only thing that's unsure is if this is truly like if they will list. There's pretty much no doubt that if they do list Spell, it's going to go up much higher in a very short term. But if they don't, I'll probably exit again in a week or so. Yeah. So that's Spell. Moving down the list, a couple more that I'm also very bullish on, right? Usual offenders, right? Synapse. This is the, like, by now, if you still haven't tried the Synapse bridge, you really need to try it. This is the only bridge I use now, Synapse protocol, to bridge from Ethereum to BSC, Polygon, Phantom, AVAX, Arbitrum. All 6 chains, instant bridge. Like, it's literally faster than every single bridge. The AVAX official bridge, you have to wait like 20 minutes. Binance, the same thing. Like Phantom through any swap, it's kind of iffy as well. Synapse, the best bridge by far. Like, it's so fast. And I'm especially like envious of their model that they come up with, because they are not like kind of like a foundation. They're just like taking your token from one side, minting on the other side. No, that's not the case, because they are able to connect stakers with bridges, right? So how this works is like very cool. So they just started their Phantom pool, right? Their Phantom bridge. So how this works is just people stake USDC, USDT, or MIM, or NUSD on Ethereum, and then they stake also on Phantom, right? And they get yield, right? And then once you have these staked, right, it's all routed through this like cross-chain swap pool with their NUSD token, their stablecoin. So this way, they can pretty much launch on any EVM chain. And as long as the APY is there, it's just the same platform, and people will like balance it out. There will always be more people looking to put stablecoin down for 30% APY. That's just like super good. So the incentives are aligned. And in fact, they just launched this Phantom pool like 3 days ago, and already it's at 50 million TVL in there. And you can bridge like $1 million from Phantom to Ethereum and back and forth, and it will only be like 0.5% slippage right now. That's really good. For like something like instant, what's it called? Instant settlement, right? And especially like because of their design as like stable coins, right? If you used Phantom before and you try to bring assets to the Phantom chain, most of that, when you route through any swap, is actually in Phantom tokens. So already, right, this is a better bet, a better play, a better bridge in terms of slippage than the official like any swap bridge, because when you do, let's say you have some USD and on ETH and you wanted to bridge to USD on Phantom to buy something else or farm. When you go through the AnySwap bridge, you have to buy FTM, bridge it over through AnySwap, and then sell the FTM for USD. Both sides there have slippage. So already that's like way higher slippage than this pool. I've tried both, and I can tell you that right away. So that's what like really makes Synapse so interesting and so cool to use. And yeah, I've used the Arbitrum bridge, I've used the AVAX bridge, Phantom bridge. Like it all works the exact same way through this bridge. You just pick whatever chain and the stablecoin, and you're good, and like instant. Yeah, this is like by far the best bridge right now, and that's why I'm so bullish on it, because like all of these ecosystems, AVAX, Phantom, Harmony, like they'll probably support Harmony quite soon, right? Like Arbitrum doesn't have LM, right? But there's a lot of farming opportunities. There are tons of opportunities on these other chains, and this, like the AVAX Avalanche Rush, will last another 6 months, right? So over the next 6 months, more and more people will try to bridge and discover projects like Synapse, and they'll use it because it's good. And yeah, I just don't see this as a bad play. Like if you're betting on the multi-chain narrative and you're already in the layer ones, and you yourself like are getting on these other chains and getting their DeFi protocols and coins, try out their bridge and you'll see what I mean. and this is quite a high conviction play for me. Synapse, it's yeah, I think it should be much higher value than this right now, because it's the best bridge right now. Yeah, right away. I can tell you that. So that's one of the DeFi plays that I'm super impressed with, and I'm still like holding and accumulating more and more of. And also note that Three Arrows Capital, right? They bought Synapse. Average entry around $1.70. They bought a lot at $1.40, $1.80, $2, right? So their average entry was around $1.70. So seeing that price is only $2.70, right? You do the math, right? Are they going to bank a 50% profit, like when they make a few $1 million bet? Like, probably not, right? And especially like Three Arrows have a like they have actually put Synapse as one of their selected investments on their website, right? So they're fully behind kind of backing it. So whenever they put like one of these projects here, they don't take it off, right? So they really see something and they will pretty much only hodl for the long term. They have pretty much never done a flip, and in order for these projects to make sense to be like highlighted in the portfolio, the returns have to be good, because they have a certain standard that they like. It's kind of a signaling effect that they have to keep. So yeah, I think this is very, very cheap Synapse at these levels. And of course, right, if you see like the other one that they invested in, Trader Joe, right? Also extremely cheap, right? Below $2. This is again very close to the levels that these guys, Three Arrows, Defiance, not 3LAO mechanism, they got in at. Right around $1.50 was their entry, I would say, when they did the previous fundraising round. So yeah, this is the AVAX ecosystem's leading DEX. The AVAX rush is most likely going to start in the next week, latest end of October, right? And specifically Joe Rush was supposed to be mid-October, so that's like very soon. So very soon we'll see like TVL starting to take up, more people not only farm on Joe, but because Joe is the leading DEX and listing like all the top coins on Joe, right? When the AVAX rush starts, people see TVL take up for things like, you know, other farms like your Snowball, like your Penguin Finance, whatever, right? Their TVL takes up and their APYs take up as AVAX releases these liquidity mining rewards for the projects. There will be speculation, right? Because they'll try to market it, and some people will farm, other people will just try to buy these coins, right? And all of these, right, whether it's farm or buy, they have to buy the coins and have to put it into liquidity pools. The liquidity pools will most likely be on Joe because it's the leading DEX. And when people either speculate or try to farm, they will have to go to Joe. So again, not only is it the Joe's native incentives to boost their TVL will drive themselves up, but also as the AVAX rush itself is starting, the leading DEX in the AVAX ecosystem will benefit the most, as any projects that people will want to get into and farm, they'll have to go through Joe. So both of these combined, and as well, a third part is Joe is releasing their Banker Joe platform, which is a lending and borrowing platform that's enabled natively on Trader Joe. And it will function very similar to Abracadabra, where when you combine a DEX with lending, you can do natively leverage trading, right? For example, like you can leverage long on Joe by just taking buy $100 worth of Joe, put it down as collateral, borrow another $50 of stablecoin, use that stablecoin to buy Joe again. In which case, now you are at 1.5x leverage long on Joe, right? So that kind of functionality usually people have to do through Aave and then Uniswap again. With Banker Joe and Trader Joe combined, now you can do all this together, right? So there will be so much speculation on AVAX and on Joe. Like, I continue to hold, and I continue to accumulate more. It really is a no-brainer. Like, I just don't see it as being this low much further. The end of the tunnel, light at the end of the tunnel, is almost there. Like, I just don't see it as a bad play here. So yeah, that's Synapse and Joel, two of my high conviction plays. Couple more, right? Spirit. This is kind of the Joel's equivalent, but on Phantom. Not as many big funds back this. We do know that Daniel Sesta, the founder of Spell and Abracadabra, he is working with the SpiritSwap team. So yeah, like, this is also bullish, but if you look at like current price, like, it is kind of consolidating sideways. So there could be good entries between like 46 cents to something like 55 cents. But in terms of like the liquidity incentives, when comparing Avalanche to Phantom, like clear competitors, the AVAX Rush, the Avalanche incentives will roll out very soon. In fact, like in a couple weeks. Versus the ones on Phantom, they actually have a 2-month cliff after they are approved. So even if SpiritSwap like got the incentive approved like since day one, there will probably still be another month before they get any sort of like Phantom tokens that can go into their farm to boost their TVL. So this is why I think that the rotation right now is probably going to be in Joel first rather than Spirit, as the AVAX Rush is actually starting. Yeah, so but overall, like, also bullish on this because, you know, Daniel Sesta is helping them. They're also very similar to Joel, but on Phantom ecosystem, we'll see a stay like in probably next month when the Phantom LMs get released. So yeah. And then lastly, ICE, right? We've been talking about just the same coins over and over, but this is also very bullish because, again, another Daniel Sesta coin, only at about 300 million market cap in comparison to Spell, like already at 1.2 billion. Time is at something like 700 million now. So this is one of the still under the radar ones. So Popsicle Finance is also fitting into the multi-chain narrative. It's a multi-chain yield aggregator. When you put your stablecoins or ETH on there, you can get the best yield on UniV3 or on Pancake or on, you know, SpiritSwap, or they'll probably support AVAX soon. So very clear narrative. And technically speaking, their platform hasn't even relaunched yet. They went through an exploit back in, you know, the summer. So yeah, still continue to hold ICE. I think this has a lot more upside than right now. But yeah, as you can see, like, it's pretty much parabolic here, so can't really recommend any entries. But yeah, we've been accumulating a lot in these like $6 zones, right when we were accumulating Spell as well, right? I think Spell was around like 0.35 cents, something like that, in this range. Yeah, and I remember ICE being like in the $6 range. So yeah, I don't think this one has topped out, but can't really recommend much when it's doing like parabolic like this. But if it dips, let's say to like $15, that would be a good entry. But is it gonna happen? I don't know. Nonetheless, I'm still holding this. Okay, so that's DeFi plays, and then let's go into questions. I think I've rambled on enough. Let's see here. What's your plan on Boba? Yeah, this is interesting. So I posted this this gem in our Discord. So there's this airdrop for Boba Network. So Boba Network is, if you remember OMG or Omisego back in the day, they're one of the first layer 2 scaling solutions for Ethereum, but they were using the older tech called Plasma. That's kind of phased out, like it's kind of disproven and it's like kind of flawed. So right now people are in rollups. So that's just why OMG is doing a new network called Boba Network, specifically using optimistic rollups. So very similar to Arbitrum and Optimism, which are already live. So they can launch this network very quickly and support smart contracts on it. Anyone can just migrate over. So what they're doing is they're taking people's OMG tokens, and which is right now on Ethereum mainnet, and saying that until November 12th, I think, I don't remember the date, November 12th here, they will do a snapshot on November 12th. So before that date, if you have OMG tokens and you bridge it to their layer 2, the Boba layer 2, you can get Boba tokens as an airdrop. So this is a pretty big project because if you look at like layer 2 beat, they are already like quite high in TVL. If you compare it to the rest of the competition. Here, so you see how here are all of the layer 2 networks, right? So here we have like optimistic rollup. So Arbitrum and Optimism clearly have the biggest TVL, and this is because they are universal, right? You see the purpose here. So the only type of universal layer 2 right now is optimistic rollup. So by universal, we mean that you can deploy any smart contract on there, any token, any exchange, DEX, NFT marketplace, whatever on there. So this is why they're able to capture like a lot of TVL, right? Versus others like DYDX, Loopring, zkSwap, whatever. They are only able to support kind of their own platform, but you cannot deploy other types of platform on there, not arbitrary smart contracts. So with that in mind, you see that the next up optimistic rollup is Boba Network. And they are currently at 33 million, not very significant, but definitely like one of the top 7 already. And on top of that, it's quite unlikely for Arbitrum or Optimism to release tokens. I don't know. It's what I think, because they are very much like Ethereum core community, and they probably wouldn't want to like have another token that will compete with Ethereum on their own network. Plus, like all their fundraising is mostly in equity instead of token when they raise money, right, from A16Z and stuff. But with Boba Network, they are actually the first optimistic rollup chain that will go live with a native token called the Boba token, right? So I think this is interesting. I think 2 ways I could potentially play this. The first way is to just kind of ride the speculative news on OMG, because like holding OMG will give you Boba airdrop, right? So you could technically just like buy the rumor, hold OMG until like November 12th, and then sell the news, but not actually get the airdrop. Or you can buy OMG, bridge it to Boba network, and get the airdrop. Or you can wait till it launches. I'm not so sure about kind of valuation-wise, like the OMG tokens performance after the snapshot airdrop, because I think OMG will probably crash a lot because like most of the utility for the OMG network is gone by that point. So I don't know. I'm kind of more in the first camp of like just kind of maybe speculating on OMG and waiting till the snapshot and sell the news. That's kind of how I'm planning to play it. I haven't really made an entry yet because this is technically like, it's not even a performing spell. So yeah, there are better plays out there right now. But if you're into this narrative and you're super into optimistic rollups, this could be a good play. It could be a good play here. So that's Boba. Let's see what other questions there are. Any update on Ohm and Temple DAO? Ohm is just like parabolic. I don't know what you want me to update. Like, you don't want to short the winners, right? When it wins, you just let it win. So if you're still holding on, just hold it. Like, there's really nothing to talk about. But like, you have to understand that it's a literally parabolic chart. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, I cannot recommend people to get in at these levels. But at the same time, winners win. So continue riding until this market cap chart, right, starts showing like lower highs and lower lows, right? Showing like trend reversal. Then you exit. I don't know what else there is to say. Like, it's just, yeah, like I cannot recommend people to short this, because that's really stupid. But I also cannot recommend people to get in at parabolic runs. So I can't give you an update. If you're sitting on the sidelines, I would say sit on the sidelines and just look out for other stuff. What's the plan for Dog NFT? Still hold? Yeah, I mean, it's the Doge, right? So it's should be $1 billion in market cap. It's not right now, so still hold. Temple DAO, it hasn't launched yet. I think it's launching publicly very soon. I'll probably buy a lot of Temple DAO. Yeah. Where do you check charts for Spirit Swap? You can use ZooCoin is the site. Yeah, ZooCoin is probably the best site. I'll reply to you here. ZooCoin. You're in and holding. Yeah, like, you just, when the winners are going, you just hold until they're trying to clear reverses. You don't want to bet against it. That's the same as catching a falling knife, right? Any updates on Pulse Chain, or is it play you set and forget? It's a play and set and forget. Their testnet is out, but that was like 3 weeks ago, I think. I don't think there's any more updates than that. I hope it launches before end of the year, but I don't know. I don't have any more info. Okay, let me just do the questions on YouTube here, and then we'll be out of here. Okay, let's see. Any update on Temple DAO? I wish I do. They're actually just like very, very selective for who they pick as their contributors and like early like people with money in, and it's very limited, like $1,000 each. I don't even have an allocation, so I'll probably just wait till the public launch to buy. I haven't bought the DOT already. I gave entries like earlier in this stream. Thoughts on respecting but not owning Bitcoin because lack of utility and low return potential? Yeah, totally valid. Like, this is kind of how I play most of the time anyways. I always watch what Bitcoin is doing. It needs to be healthy in order for the rest of the market to be healthy. But most of the time, I'm very bullish on alts, not so heavily in Bitcoin. But I always watch Bitcoin. So yeah, that's how I would interpret that. If that BTCD breaks above 47.5%, you will immediately trade altcoin profits to BTC or wait for good entry in BTC? Probably immediately. Not like a wick above, but if it closes, let's say 2 to 3 days above, then that will be a confirmed breakout, by which point I will just take profits from altcoins. Yeah. What do you think about Ohm and time right now? What would you predict for a price estimate, more or less? Why do you need a price estimate? You don't need a price estimate. It's going up. Let it go up. Like, I'm not an oracle. I don't know. Like, as long as the trend is up, it'll continue going up. If it clearly shows us that the market cap is showing lower highs and lower lows with trend reversal, I can tell you, yeah, that's probably the top. But it hasn't done that yet, so why would you want a prediction? So you can try to be smart? No, like, just know that you got in at a really good time and you made a good call, and just keep writing it. Like, and if you want my prediction because you haven't gotten in, then I'm not going to give you a higher prediction than right now, because that's not for sure. I have no idea, literally no idea at this point, because it's literally gone like this. Like, how am I supposed to give a very accurate and safe entry for you. I don't have that ability. So I do think Lost Boys can reach 3 ETH price goal, specifically when they announce their auction on Sotheby's. But I don't think that will happen in the next 2, probably even 4 weeks, because it seems like their news is being released like every 2 weeks. So every 2 weeks they come out with a new feature. That has been the way since like the very early days, the mint. And we need to wait another 2 weeks for the page utility to be consumed by poets. And then I would assume like probably another 2 weeks for any sort of major news. Maybe that's Sotheby's. So I really don't want to hold pages at these stable levels for another month, 4 weeks. So yeah, I sold a lot of poets actually, and I want to put that money into altcoins that are like just actually trending right now. Okay, let's see. Climate DAO is good, but Climate is also very, very expensive now. Let's see if there's any good questions. Did you participate in a Colin Glimmer presale? I didn't. The Glimmer presale was only like I think both were limited at like a $1,000 contribution, which is like pretty small. So, is there a max of DOT you will be able to put into crowd loan? No, actually no. For most people, unless you have $100 million. But yeah, for most people, no. Hi, bro. I'm 100% in also. I want to increase my BTC exposure. New dominance is going up and my BTC value is going down. What should be my next course of action? Please answer as you always do. Yeah, so I'm waiting for Bitcoin dominance it needs to confirm the breakout above 47.5%. If that happens, I will take profits from altcoins. If it doesn't happen, I will continue to be in mostly altcoins. Yeah, Movr is a good project, but I'm actually mostly waiting for Moonbeam. I actually covered Climate DAO like on. Did I cover Climate DAO on TikTok? Maybe not, but I was in the Copper launch. I was in the LBP. Climate DAO is a really good project. Yeah. You know, maybe Climate could still be a good opportunity. I gotta look into it at the launch. If it can launch at like a low price again, something like $300. That would be good. I'd be pretty down to aping Climate. Appreciate you and your analysis, Virtual, and keep up the good work. Thanks, Saucerification, nice name. Still holding RMRK. I sold a lot actually for DOT because I want to be positioned for crowd loans. My target was always for RMRK, right? It was $10. That was the first target that I'm comfortable taking profits around. So. If staking DOT on chain, would you wait until official announcement to unstake? Yeah. Do you think crypto will be heavily regulated and taxed at a higher rate by the end of this year? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a politician, so I really don't know. Climate will start at 323. Really? That's interesting. Okay, so if that's the case, then that would be a really good opportunity, actually. Because so Clima's, I don't think this is accurate. I think the real max supply at launch is 177K, if I were not mistaken, because there were a little bit of pre-sale, but those are vested. So let's say like 150 maybe. So 150K, $323. It's like $50 million. So that's actually really bullish if they can launch at if I can get in at $300. I kind of highly doubt that. I hope so. I hope people dump. Climate so I can get in at around 300. That would be really cool. Dixie enormous. This is your full-time job. Yeah, it is. It is, man. Okay, I think that's about it. Craig, thank you for the tip on Clima. So I was not able to get in as much as in the LBP, so I've been kind of dismissing it a little bit. 323 on Discord. Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, if I can get it around those range, I would really love to get into Clima. Yeah, that would be a big win. Yeah, no, 323 was the highest it got on what's it called, LBP, right? But it's probably not going to stay there because like the alpha climate, right, is already trading at like 1.3k, right? So right, so I don't know if that's gonna be yeah, no, I get what you mean. Like it was 323 on copper launch, right? So but I think it will be very quickly arbitraged up to like $1,000, probably, most likely. Yeah. By which point it's still good if you compare it to like time and ohm, right? It's still like 4x to go. So yeah, maybe it's really worth it. I don't know. I'll think about it. Certainly, if it can be close to $300, I'd be really down. Yeah, but we'll see. We'll see the launch. I'll check in on the Climate Discord again. Thanks for the tip, Craig. Actually, really cool. Okay, I think that's it for today's stream. Thank you guys for joining. Has been really good. Covered a lot of stuff. Bitcoin is healthy. The rest of the market is really good. Yeah, just like I hope we can all make some money, and hope you are already. It'll probably fly around gates, correct? Yeah, I agree. I don't know. I hope I can get a good entry. I hope people dump. That's what I really hope. Okay, so I'll see you guys on Wednesday for another stream, and check out the replay for this stream on my YouTube, and also join Bacon DAO, link in below, for any questions you have after the stream. So we have a Discord. Aside from that, thanks guys. Bye for now. See you on Wednesday.